Have you ever heard the expression, "We're in this together"? Are we really? My name is Ed Trevors. I'm an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. I get to serve in the amazing, beautiful town of Shelburne, Nova Scotia, in the fantastic parish of Christ Church, Shelburne, that sits on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And I want to touch on that line. We are all in this together. In the gospel, Jesus tells us, he says, I remember there's a passage where, it's in the Gospel of Matthew. I remember the first time I ever read it, I was taking a coffee break at work. I was a new Christian and was going through this book, and I was floored by all the different things that it said. I was just absolutely floored by it seemed like every time I picked up the book, I was being convicted of something. It was showing me an opportunity to grow. It was showing me a place where maybe I had fallen down. I had not quite lived up to par. It never made me necessarily feel guilty, but it always made me to want to be and do better. This one passage, and I apologize, it's towards the end of Matthew. I can't think of the chapter right off, but Jesus says, "When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was sick, you cared for me. When I was cold, you gave me your coat. When I was without a home, you sheltered me. When I was a captive, you visited me." And the disciples said, "Lord, when did we ever do that?" And he says, "When you do for the least, you do for me." He goes on to say, "You didn't feed me. You didn't. Lord, when did we ever not do that? When you don't do for the least, you don't do for me." I'm hearing that line a lot lately. We're in this together. I'm hearing this especially a lot on the news from people in positions of authority, people in positions of privilege, saying that to the protesters, to the demonstrators, to the people of our world who feel oppressed. We're in this together. But here's the thing. Unless you are willing to do for the least of our society, you are not in this together. You are watching it from the outside, hoping that it doesn't get you dirty. We're not in this together unless we are willing to get into it together. One of my favorite quotes from last week, gosh, I can't remember who said it. It said, "A free country is only as free as the least free individual." A free country is only as free as the least free person. Basically, if you have a country where you say everybody is free, but some people have more freedoms than others, it is not a free country. It's not. It could be a number of different things, but it's not a free country. If freedom is impeded, it is not a free country. And I'm taking that quote and I'm bringing it into this conversation. We are in it together. You are only in it together with the people that you are willing to be with. Right? If you're not willing to be on the streets protesting, you are not in it together. if you are not willing to be there with the shop owners who are cleaning up after a riot or looting, you are not in it together with them. If you are not willing to stand with the homeless, if you are not willing to shelter the cold, if you're not willing to give up yourself, to give to the least of our society, you are not in this with us. And I say that to you knowing full well that there are limits in my life as well, that there are things places in my life that I will freely go, and there are places in my life that I really dread going. I get it. But we gotta stop using that term unless we mean it. But now here's the flip side to that. If we mean it, oh my word, if we mean it, the world will be such a better place. If we mean it, then the poor will not be alone. The homeless will not be alone. The shoeless will not be alone. The addict will not be alone. The oppressed will not be alone. If you mean it, this system that we live in, that was set up hundreds of years ago to operate in a very particular manner, and has been doing a really good job of it, this system, we can dismantle it because we're in it together. My call to you is please join. Please give yourself this opportunity to enter into the conflict, enter into the solution. Because we need all the people we can get to do this work. The oppressed aren't going to be free until there's enough of us on board to make sure that all the heavy work, all the heavy lifting is done. We need you. Please be in this together. Let us be all in this together. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious and generous to you. May you know the peace of living in God's presence. And may you feel the Spirit direct you to join with your brothers and sisters to make real, necessary, life-changing transformation in this world. Amen. Hey again, folks. We all know that lots of stuff's going on in the world. Lots of big things are going on in the world. So today, I want to encourage you, watch out for your brother and sister. Take care of them. Be there for your neighbor. Be there for your family. Be there for the stranger. Love everyone. Throw hate away. Throw fear away. Throw jealousy away. Be one together. Amen.